en parte de todos los inmigrantes detenidos, presos en este centro, pidiendo que nos escuchen ya que no tenemos voz, ya que nos encontramos frustrados, humillados dentro de este centro.
Protestaban por las demoras en sus casos y las condiciones inadecuadas de comida y agua dentro de la cárcel.
Ongoing issues at this facility since it's reopened, non-stop issues. And so at the beginning of the complaint, we include a history of all of these abuses. Really important. I think spreading the word, that's what I hear most from people in detention, is they feel forgotten and unknown and completely, isolated and abandoned, frankly. Yeah, abandoned is the word I hear the most. No one knows about them. They want people to know that they're there and to be thinking about them and talking about them and sharing their stories. And those are the two things that I think are the most salient for me, is communicating with your legislators, showing your support for abolishment of immigration detention in New Mexico, and then sharing the stories of these people who are suffering as we speak. There are hundreds of people as we speak in those two facilities, and in New Mexico right now there are around 2,000 people in detention.
A todos los inmigrantes privados de libertad, no somos delincuentes, como nos hacen ver ante la sociedad de este país.
Jaime Arteaga, Noticias, Univisión, Nuevo México.
Muy buenas tardes, soy la esposa y madre de sus 3 hijos. Me dirijo a ustedes por la situación que está viviendo mi esposo en los Estados Unidos, ya que él se ha trasladado hacia allá por la seguridad de su vida, porque aquí fue amenazado de muerte, quienes fueron golpeados y amenazados y a punto de morir. Por eso él tomó la decisión de irse hacia allá y tenemos la esperanza de que su buen corazón lo ayuden, sin más nada que decir.
Y esas historias junto con la mía me empujan, me motivan a ir a hablar con los legisladores, a contar mi historia, a educar a la comunidad, que sepan qué es lo que en verdad está pasando. Mi mamá me decía, no vayas a decir quién es tu papá, porque ella pensaba que nos iban a seguir. Ahora siempre que cuento mi historia empiezo con Jorge Banda. Jorge Banda para mí es mi padre, es un hombre maravilloso, pero sé que para Nuevo México solo fue un número que empezó con la letra A.
Confusion and delays in their immigration process, lack of information, and while they're going through that, they also experience physical conditions that are atrocious, right? We have independent testimonies of people who have never met each other saying the exact same thing essentially over time, related to lack of medical attention, related to, again, harmful physical infrastructure, lack of mental health attention. People are struggling with health. They feel that if they put in a note seeking some kind of help, they won't get attended to for days, and receiving increasingly numerous reports from people detained at TCDF regarding lack of drinking water, cold indoor temperatures, lack of clean clothes and laundry, inedible food, and denial of outdoor recreation time, people citing really awful conditions there. And similarly at Cibola, perhaps different at times, but ultimately lockup of people who to be back with their communities and waiting for their processes to go through, or perhaps waiting for deportation, but facing brutal conditions of incarceration while they do so. And so we know that the cruelty, sadly, seems to be the point in terms of disincentivizing people's migration. It's both awful to witness, and we know that it's not necessary.
But they're all experiencing really serious psychological effects from their travels, and then also from being detained and often spending up to weeks in CBP custody, where there's, again, complete lack of resources, complete lack of, in fact, most people are not able to bathe there.
Recuerdo que me desperté bien temprano y llegamos allá a la cárcel y mi papá salió, como que yo lo vi salir de la puerta y llegó una van y se lo llevó. Y no supe nada, no nos dijeron nada de allí. Mi mamá soltó el llanto, yo solté el llanto porque no sabíamos qué estaba pasando con mi papá. Y recuerdo que le dije a mi mamá, es mi papá. Y era mi papá. Pero resulta que sí, que lo tenía inmigración, que no, o sea, mi papá decía que no sabía qué hecho para haber estado allí. Mi papá, se escuchó el llanto de mi papá, y cuando yo escuché el llanto de mi papá, yo me solté llorando otra vez.
People are locked up when they could be free with their communities, working through their immigration processes. There's no reason other than cruelty and disincentivization to keep people locked up.
Mi papá nos hablaba, él decía que no comía, sabíamos que no estaba comiendo porque decía que la ropa le quedaba grande, todavía no tenía zapatos, porque recuerdo que una vez nos habló muy contento y lo dijo, ¿qué crees, mija? Me dieron unos Vans. Él pensaba que eran unos Vans, pero duraron hasta un mes para darle zapatos. Mi papá estaba durmiendo en el suelo, se quejaba que le dolía el estómago, que le dolía la espalda. Decía que los trataban muy mal, muy mal. Mi papá no nos platicaba detalles, pero se escuchaba el dolor en su garganta. Y así duramos 1 mes, 2 meses, 3 meses, 4 meses. Y al 5º mes mi papá me dijo, mija, ya no aguanto, ya no puedo estar aquí.
People repeatedly said they could feel that they could even die there without being acknowledged, which sadly, in an awful way, echoes what actually did take place when Kesley Vial, a young Brazilian man in 2022, took his own life at Torrance after spending several weeks detained there.
Yo cuando escuché a mi papá decir, mija, ya no aguanto, ya no puedo estar aquí, yo me imaginé lo peor. Dije, va a ser algo. Y recuerdo que yo le decía, no, papá, aguante un poquito más, todo va a estar bien, usted va a salir. Mi papá llegó a México, que nos mandó una foto de cómo se miraba. Él no era el hombre que yo había conocido. Mi papá se miraba flaco, se miraba triste, se miraba que tenía miedo. Fue como que yo lo había visto antes de irse y... Fue como que yo lo había visto antes de que lo agarrara la policía y la persona que me mandaron en esa foto ya no era la misma persona que yo había conocido desde chiquita. Se miraba mal y es muy feo saber que todavía esas cosas siguen aquí. Yo escucho historias de personas que vienen y me platican que estuvieron detenidas, que los separaron de su familia, y todo eso me recuerda a lo que yo viví y me da una tristeza y me da un coraje, y quisiera que toda la gente entendiera el dolor que es que tu padre esté encerrado y que ya no lo vuelvas a ver.
What we want folks to do is to keep paying attention, find ways to get more involved locally, to shut down these immigration detention centers, and in the short and long run, support dignity, not detention. So shut down ICE detention in the state of New Mexico, end these contracts between local jails and ICE, end that abuse on a road toward decarcerating these communities in general, and make sure that we fight against what CoreCivic and the Torrance County Detention Facility and ICE are seeking to do, which is to keep these things in the dark, because they know that there's a movement and there's pressure to actually shut down Torrance and shut down immigration detention in the state of New Mexico and beyond.
Esto tiene que parar, tiene que de a tiro parar.
I feel very clear that detention of immigrants is inhumane, it's inappropriate, it doesn't serve the purpose it sets out to serve, and it simply doesn't represent who we are as New Mexicans. I think we can be more welcoming. We have the resources and the space to be more welcoming, and instead we're denying people really basic care and human rights, frankly. And these are people like the time I spend visiting with these folks. These are people who I want in my community. They're engaged, they're proactive, they're thoughtful, and a lot of them are really young, and they want access to the same kind of resources that I have access to. They want access to education, they want access to work. Frankly, most people are really excited to be working, to have something to do with themselves and to pursue a future for themselves. And I think what they receive is just so completely the opposite. And so I think the message that I would want people to get from all of this is immigration detention is inhumane. It should be illegal, and we should not be supporting it in New Mexico.